Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to recap Immortal's journey to immortality, episode 181. Previously, Han Li decided not to flee. Instead, he joined forces with Nangong Wan to lure the Grand Elder of the Masked Moon sect into her cave residence. Their plan was to trap her using hidden formations and secret restrictions, seize the command token that controlled the heart-binding curse, and finally free Nangong Wan. While Nangong Wan recovered her spiritual power and removed the seals placed on her, Han Li quietly set up powerful formations, summoned Silvermoon, and secretly positioned his swarm of gold-devouring beetles in preparation for the upcoming battle. Episode 181 begins. As Nangong Wan focused on breaking the seals on her body and restoring her strength, Han Li quietly sat across from her, gazing at her as if trying to make up for all the years they had been separated. Suddenly, however, he sensed someone secretly spying outside the hall. In an instant, he appeared behind the young woman in yellow who had previously guided him. Han Li quickly realized that she was hiding herself with a high-grade concealment talisman, something an ordinary Foundation establishment cultivator could never possess, immediately making him suspicious of her true identity. Knowing she had been exposed, the girl crushed an escape talisman and transformed into a streak of yellow light, attempting to flee. However, everything had already been anticipated by Han Li. As soon as she escaped a short distance, a hidden red mist restriction suddenly erupted, blocking her path and knocking her to the ground. At that moment, Silvermoon appeared from within the mist with a faint smile and effortlessly subdued the girl, signaling that Han Li's plan had already begun working before the real battle even started. After receiving Nangong Wan's voice transmission talisman, the Grand Elder immediately left Sunset Hall and headed toward Nangong Wan's cave residence. Along the way, she questioned the yellow-robed disciple who had been secretly monitoring Nangong Wan. The disciple reported that after receiving a silver sword delivered by a low-ranking disciple, Nangong Wan's attitude had changed dramatically, and shortly afterward she requested to meet the Grand Elder in person. Believing that Nangong Wan had finally agreed to marry Wei Lishan, the Grand Elder was overjoyed and entered the cave without suspicion. As soon as she stepped into the hall, she saw Nangong Wan calmly admiring the silver sword. Sensing something unusual, the Grand Elder suddenly turned and attacked the yellow-robed disciple behind her. But the disciple was actually Silvermoon in disguise. She instantly used Earth Escape to disappear, while Han Li emerged from outside and blocked the Grand Elder's retreat with his flying swords, trapping her inside the carefully prepared ambush. Realizing escape would not be easy, the Grand Elder immediately took out the command token controlling the heart-binding curse in an attempt to restrain Nangong Wan. However, Nangong Wan had already summoned her natal magic treasure, the Vermilion Bird Ring, while Han Li gave the Grand Elder no chance to activate the restriction. He immediately released his silver bell to launch powerful sound wave attacks and activated every hidden formation inside the hall, officially beginning the fierce battle between Han Li, Nangong Wan, and the Grand Elder of the Masked Moon sect. Facing their combined assault, the Grand Elder used the yin-yang ice and fire swords to create a black and white defensive barrier, easily neutralizing Han Li's sound wave attacks. Although surrounded by formations and engulfed in the Vermilion Bird Ring's sea of flames, she remained calm. Nangong Wan secretly launched the evil slaying spike, injuring the Grand Elder's hand and interrupting her attempt to activate the heart-binding curse. Seizing the opportunity, Han Li summoned Heavenweight Peak, intending to crush her beneath the enormous mountain. However, the Grand Elder immediately brought out the ancient treasure condensing light mirror, whose five-colored divine light shattered both the formations and the flames while also trapping Nangong Wan's Vermilion Bird Ring. Han Li's Heavenweight Peak clashed directly against the mirror, and the two treasures reached a complete stalemate. Seeing the battle intensify, Han Li released his swarm of gold-devouring beetles to surround the enemy, while Nangong Wan prepared her strongest divine ability, the Samsara Divine Light. Under tremendous pressure, the Grand Elder finally revealed her greatest trump card, the Blood Demon Sword, an infamous demonic weapon whose terrifying power came with the risk of consuming its own wielder. The Grand Elder once again demanded that Nangong Wan marry Wei Lishan for the future prosperity of the Masked Moon sect, otherwise she would show no mercy with the Blood Demon Sword. Before Nangong Wan could answer, Han Li stepped forward and firmly rejected the proposal on her behalf, declaring that he would never allow her to sacrifice her happiness for the sect. Seeing their unwavering love, the Grand Elder finally realized that Han Li was the true reason Nangong Wan refused the marriage, and her killing intent toward him exploded. Han Li calmly urged the Grand Elder to surrender the heart-binding curse token and warned her not to place too much confidence in the blood demon sword. She sneered, believing that killing Han Li would force Nangong to change her mind. She spat a mouthful of blood onto the demonic sword and unleashed its strongest attack. Seeing the danger, Nangong immediately activated the Samsara Divine Light. But her divine technique was temporarily restrained by the Grand Elder's magic treasure. Moments later, the blood demon sword released an enormous blood-red sword aura. It absorbed the surrounding spiritual energy and completely locked Han Li in place, leaving him unable to move. Just as everyone believed he was doomed, Han Li suddenly erupted with evil repelling divine lightning. A massive golden lightning net surrounded his body and forcefully blocked the terrifying sword aura. After an intense struggle, Han Li unleashed even more divine lightning, finally destroying the attack and sealing the remaining demonic blood energy inside a sphere of lightning. Both Nangong and the Grand Elder were left completely stunned. The Blood Demon Sword was one of the most feared demonic weapons in the southern heavenly region, and almost no cultivator had ever survived its full-powered strike. Yet Han Li had successfully neutralized it with his evil-repelling divine lightning, although the lightning itself was heavily depleted. Without giving the Grand Elder time to recover, Han Li immediately ordered his gold-devouring beetles to attack. The Grand Elder responded with the sword thread transformation technique, turning her flying sword into countless razor-thin strands that continuously sliced through the swarm. Believing she had destroyed every beetle, she finally relaxed, only to watch in shock as every gold-devouring beetle revived and reformed into a golden swarm before charging once again. At the same moment, Nangong shattered the green mist restriction and unleashed the full power of her Samsara Divine Light across the entire hall. Realizing she could no longer withstand the combined assault, the Grand Elder transformed into a black and white streak of light, attempting to break through the ceiling and escape so she could summon the entire Masked Moon sect and activate its grand formation to eliminate Han Li and Nangong. As the Grand Elder tried to escape through the ceiling, the gold-devouring beetles instantly formed a gigantic shield to block her path. Although she broke through it with an escape talisman, Nangong immediately activated the cave's hidden ceiling formation, locking down the entire hall. Even after forcing her way through that barrier, the Grand Elder was caught inside Silvermoon's purple cloud net, a powerful treasure that completely restrained her. No matter how fiercely she attacked, she could not break free. Seeing that her senior sister still intended to fight to the death, Nangong finally enveloped her with the Samsara Divine Light. After several moments, the Divine Light successfully rendered the Grand Elder unconscious, preventing even her nascent soul from escaping. Han Li originally wanted to eliminate her completely, but Nangong insisted on sparing her life to repay the kindness she had once received from the Masked Moon sect and to prevent the sect from collapsing. After securing complete victory, Nangong finally obtained the command token controlling the heart-binding curse, permanently removing the greatest obstacle between herself and Han Li. While searching the Grand Elder's storage pouch, Han Li also discovered a mysterious black ring identical to one he had already possessed, quietly keeping it for future investigation. Finally, Nangong removed the Blood Demon Sword from her senior sister and handed it to Han Li for safekeeping. She believed the demonic weapon was far too dangerous to remain in the sect, while Han Li's evil repelling divine lightning was capable of suppressing it. With everything finally settled, the two prepared to leave the Masked Moon sect together. And that's the end of episode 181. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next episode. See you next time.
Mặc kệ tỷ ấy đi. Loại tông môn nhất. Nhưng từ khi sư phụ tọa hóa, tỷ ấy lên làm gì? Công dã tràng mà thôi. Đúng vậy, làm của sư tỷ. Trước kia tỷ ấy thân thiết với ta nhất, không tiếc bán cả sư muội để leo lên vị trí cao. Sớm đã mất đi dáng vẻ tông chủ Yểm Nguyệt Tông. Mọi thứ cũng đều thay đổi. Như vậy cũng không cần bỏ trốn nữa. Vậy thì không được. Ta trước giờ không có ý định tranh quyền đoạt lợi. cần đừng ép ta gả cho kẻ kỳ quái nào đó. Hoặc đặt loại cấm chế kỳ quái gì đó là được. Đã vậy, nếu lần này mọi chuyện thuận lợi, hay là cô theo ta về Lạc Vân Tông an tạm tránh Lan rồi. Dù Ngụy Vô Nhai kia có thiết đạo và hai tu sĩ Nguyên Anh chúng ta đâu nhỉ? Đầu sóng ngọn gió đi. Trước mắt sắp khai chiến với người mộ thiên vị con cháu nhà mình đến mấy cũng sẽ không dễ dàng đắc tội liên minh thiên đạo. Cơn gió gì thổi tới? Thế này, vậy mà lại chủ động muốn gặp